Guys, the amount of slander Russell Wilson has been receiving his direction since the Thursday night football game is just amazing. Russ has mostly been adored by the media for much of his career. However, in the past 24 hours, I've noticed a lot of media heads calling out the former Seahawks QB, to the point where even the NFL Network's Kyle Brandt even felt he had to share his own 2 cents on the matter. Just watch and listen.
Afterwards, it's just perfect. They pass when maybe they should have run. I think Russell Wilson is one of the least authentic personalities we have in this league. I think Russell Wilson is a poser. And that doesn't mean he's a bad person. I actually think he's a good person. I think he tries to be something that he's not. And when you make the $245 million, you either got to be a really great guy with the locker room who loves you, or you got to be an amazing player. Brady, who makes half of what Russell's making, is both. Rodgers, MVP. Patrick Mahomes, both. Allen, people love him. He's amazing. Kyler, we'll find out. Russell Wilson, first of all, the NFL, the Broncos fan base has no history with him. They have no allegiance to him. This is not a Seahawks thing that they drafted him, they grew up with him, he's their guy. None of that. You know, I work the NFL honors. I work the red carpet. Kelsey comes by, Rodgers comes by. Russell Wilson shows up with his sunglasses and his wife, and I think they think they're Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they will literally put their hand up and say, no, we're not talking. Why? Because you think you're that cool and you're that famous and you're that amazing and everything is so perfect. That does not work in a locker room unless you are really good or really, really good guy. It just doesn't work. $245 million, that can come unraveled fast. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're missing throws like that and you're putting up 9 points in a nationally televised game. Look out, this could come off the rails. It could.
So that was Kyle Brandt's reaction to the Russell Wilson slander that's been making the rounds on social media. Honestly, if this was a thing that Kyle did often, I wouldn't have thought much of it, but this is pretty unusual coming from a guy like Kyle who mostly stays under the radar and out of all the drama. Which leads me to believe that there may partly be a little bit of truth in what he's speaking, or he just had a bad moment with Russ at an NFL awards ceremony. For those of you who don't know, Russ has always been viewed as a Christian and God-loving family man amongst NFL circles, or a square if you're Channing Crowder. Basically, Russ sometimes comes off as an extremely corny individual at times.
Everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, you gotta be unlimited. You know, you gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Broncos.
Let's ride.
Perfect.
Okay.
One more time. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Broncos country. Let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
But I will admit that Russ, since getting married to Ciara, has somewhat stepped into the limelight more often these days, and rightfully so. The pair do make a power couple, and is it possible it got to the QB's head? Sure. So Kyle's issue with the Broncos QB is that he feels like Russ is somewhat of a phony, a fugazi of sorts. Always when the cameras are on, he's claiming that Russ maybe goes into his alter ego, Mr. Unlimited, but behind closed doors is a different person. It's hard to say unless someone else comes forward with more examples, because this could have been a one-off incident where he may have caught the QB on a bad day. Anyways, going back to all the public slander Russ has faced in the past 24 hours.
Last night, Russell Wilson made Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady. That's how bad it was.
Was how it's instant offense and he's gonna cook as soon as he touches down. And that's not what's happening. And that's why you get the meme of Melvin Gordon looking at him drinking water on the sideline.
I think this is mostly fair game because it is criticizing the QB's performance as of late. But it's weird listening to all this because over the last few years, Russ has always been held in high esteem within media circles. Now it looks like after 5 games, everyone including myself has written him off. Honestly, I like to think this is just a rough patch he's going through, but he has looked very, very bad. The worst I've ever seen in his career, a career I followed intently while he was in Seattle. His decision making has been piss poor, and he hasn't been able to hit any of his receivers properly with a deep ball, something he's made a career out of. Anyways, for Russ's sake and for Broncos country, I really do hope the QB can turn it around, because this may go down as one of the biggest catastrophic falls in NFL history.